So do you ever feel like your man has these defensive walls up when it comes to talking and communication? Like he just can't get through it. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to open up. Doesn't want to be vulnerable. But as a man, it's hard for us to do that. We're almost taught by society that we can't allow our emotions to flow through us. We can't feel them. We have to lock them away and keep them pushed down and keep that cold, cool facade up. Otherwise, we're going to be looked at as less of a man, less as a husband, less as a whatever. And so a lot of us do. We fall into this trap where we put up these defensive walls. We give the most minimum basic answers to our women that we can give in hopes of just getting out of a conversation so we can go back to doing whatever it was we wanted to do originally. And when that happens, we get stuck in these ruts where the communication breaks down, where our relationship stops growing deeper and stops growing stronger. And a lot of times, that's where resentments start building up, especially between the women and him, because he's not giving you what you need. He's not opening up and letting you be an active part of his side of the relationship. So how do we get him to start opening up? How do we start breaking down those defensive barriers and boundaries that he has up so that he can be free and start expressing those feelings and those emotions, and to start actually letting those feelings flow through him, rather than just sitting there trying to keep this cold, icy exterior, which is really just a facade that we put up in order to defend our own mentality. So I got an article up titled 13 Ways as a Woman You Can Get Your Man to Start Communicating. And these are 13 little bite-sized kind of concepts that I picked out, that none of them by themselves are groundbreaking, none of them by themselves are going to change your relationship, but the things you can start implementing right now today that together will build up a foundation of deeper and more open and honest communication. So let's get into it. Number one, throughout the day, ask him open-ended questions to guide conversations. You see, when he comes home, I'm just going to use an example. He comes home from work. What's your very first initial instinct? It's probably to ask him, how was his day? That's because that's a symptom of your investment, your value of him, your interest in him as a man, because he's your man. You want to know what he's going through. But it's also what's called a close-ended question. See, how many times, I'll just read it. How many times when you ask that question, is his response, it was okay, it sucked, it was good. And that's it, and then he disappears back to the video games or wherever he was. And that's because it's a question essentially that doesn't need further explanation. It's a simple yes/no question. It was good or it was bad. It sucked or it was all right. And that's it. He feels that he answered what you needed. So then he's just gonna move on. His basic answer, one-word response was enough, satisfied the question, moving on to something else. But an open-ended question, if you can start asking questions like, how was your day? What did you do in your day? What was the best part of your day? What sucked about your day? These are questions that force him, in a sense, to start giving an actual explanation. It's no longer just, all right, good, and that will suffice. It's, I want to know how your day actually was. What about that meeting actually sucked? Was it the fact that you just weren't prepared? Was it Joe Blow from HR who sucks at everything? What happened? And it gets him to start thinking about things at a little deeper level than simple yes, no, one word type of answers. And once that happens, once he's able to start giving those, you can kind of use it to guide the conversation to where you want. Ask him open questions leading towards those issues that you need addressed. And once he's doing that, he'll already have that kind of openness going. He'll already have that communicative streak flowing through him. And once you get on the real issues, once you get on the really how are you feeling, what are you going through, he'll be a lot more open already to communicate that, because he's looking at the conversations you already have as, first off, requiring explanation, not just a one-word answer, and two, as being a safe place where he can give those deeper explanations. So number two, practice listening to him actively. Active listening was kind of a catchphrase that went wild as a fad back in like the late 90s, early 2000s in the psych world. Places, shows like Frasier, it was all over and stuff like that. I don't know about y'all, but as a kid I watched Frasier and shows like that. Anyways, for men, it can often feel like we save up our energy and our mental capacity for conversations to talk about those things that are truly and really important to us. So when he does open up, one of the most important things you can do is to make sure that he knows you're paying attention to him. See, not only does this reinforce him talking more, But for guys, if we feel like we're not being paid attention to, it's easy for us to take that almost as a disrespect, almost as kind of an offense against us. What we have to say doesn't really matter to her, and thus we don't really matter to her. Why is she even asking that? We're not going to talk about it. But when we see that somebody, especially our woman, is paying attention, and by doing that, by engaging with us, asking us deeper questions, it shows us just the opposite. It shows us she truly does respect us, and she truly does appreciate and want to know our opinions and what we're going through. And that just further develops that kind of relationship safe space to use such a ridiculous phrase. But it's a place where he knows mentally on a subconscious level he is okay to talk about things deeper and on deeper levels than just the basic cold, calm, stoic kind of exterior facade that he's got. So how do you actively listen? Well, it's just engagement. Keep eye contact, the kind of the same things you want from a man when you're talking to him. You want to see that he's not looking at the TV or his phone or whatever. And second is asking more questions, or asking things about details that he's mentioning. So if he's talking about some meeting that went whatever great, and they got some big deal broken throughout the business, ask him about it. Oh, what went great about it? Was it whatever part of that plan you told me about last week that you're working on? Is this a big deal that's going to lead to the company expanding? Just something to let him know you were paying attention to the fact that he was talking about an issue in a meeting. You understood what he was talking about, or at least what he wanted to get across, and that it means something to you, that you value what he has to say about it. And from there, he'll start going deeper because he feels like he's being valued. He feels like his opinions or what he's going through is something that you truly value and want to hear about. Number three, try to Number three, let's try this again. Try to validate his feelings, and try to do it often. See, a lot of times men don't want to share our emotions or feelings because we're simply afraid. We're afraid that we'll be seen as weak or vulnerable. You don't have to go far, especially on these video platforms, to see men's relationship advice videos telling men to absolutely never be vulnerable, never open up, never give in to your feelings and start letting a woman know what you're really going through. And they say that the moment you do that is the moment your woman starts losing real respect for you, real attraction for you. That's the moment your relationship starts to die, and she eventually goes out looking for the Giga Chad of town to be with. I mean, it's more than a trope. It's everywhere on the men's entertainment side of things when it comes to relationships. And the comments are usually even worse because we get the most vitriolic, extreme people with the most extreme cases and examples that they've gone through to make it be in the comments. That's not reality. Reality is that most men just want a simple validation, a simple feeling that it's okay to have feelings and to express them, that we're not going to be seen as weak if we just express something we're going through. But at the same time, it's up to us to understand the difference between opening up and emotional dumping, which is something that we gotta work on with the guys. Because lots of times, through all this stuff, through us not feeling what we can open up, that we gotta keep cool, when we finally get the chance to, it becomes an emotional dump situation. It becomes a moment for us to just unload everything onto our woman. And then that is a burden. And then that is essentially being weak, because you're no longer in control and taking control and responsibility of your own situations. You're dumping them on somebody else. But if you can simply validate his feelings and let him know he doesn't have to dump them on you because you understand what he's going through, even if you don't understand the details about what the situation may be, you understand what he's trying to go through and what he's trying to accomplish. That starts breaking down all those different defensive barriers and starts allowing him to start really looking at how do I express myself, rather than just, honey, here's everything I'm going to do, I'm going to vomit it all over you and hope for the best. So, number 4, you need to share your feelings with him, and you need to do it often. As your man, he wants to know how you're feeling and how things are going in your own personal world. So this is a great way to help foster communication with him. You can use the good things you're going through in your mind and your heart and stuff, your life, as ways to open up further conversations with him. You see, guys, We may try to keep ourselves very cool and collected and not let anybody in, but we desperately want to know what you're going through. We want to know what you're thinking about and what you're feeling in the relationship, especially if for no other reason than that's just kind of a security thing. We're invested into you as a person. We want to know the things you are going through and what you want in life. But what's more, we're invested into a relationship with you. So we want to know, we need to know where that stands and where you stand in that relationship and in the life we're building together, so that we can take it on as something to grow bigger and deeper. And when our women share things with us, I know as a man, when my wife truly starts sharing and opening up with me just throughout the day, good, bad, whatever, it doesn't really matter what it's about. It's the fact that she just comes up to me through the day, that she knows she can talk to me and just kind of talk about the things we're going through. It creates a spot in my head where I know we're already talking about things. We're already talking about our life together and our relationship together. Me coming up with my own things and talking to her about where I'm standing isn't some new conversation I'm trying to break through. It's just an extension of the conversation we've been having for the years and years now, because it's our relationship. And these are conversations we have each and every day. And once you start getting in that kind of mode, it's no longer just having talks and trying to break through these defensive barriers. It just becomes you're in life together. Her side of it is part of my side of life, and my side of this life is part of hers. And thus, it's not trying to talk one against the other. It's the two of us talking together, building each other up more. So number five deals a lot more with kind of if you guys are in an argument or some kind of conflict. That's to use humor to break the mood. See, especially if you're in a disagreement, how easy is it, especially for men, for us to look at it as an adversarial kind of thing, where it's her versus me. And at that point, all the defenses go up, all of our attack mode comes on, our weapons we got emotionally stored up, and we go into that mindset, almost like a survival mindset of we have to come out on top of this conversation. But using humor is an easy way to tear down a lot of that. So humor is one of those things that can break the ice between people and in relationships and get them talking. You can try using jokes, playful banter, flirting, just general and feminine soft things to try to lighten him up. And then when you do, the minute you get him to smile, it instantly changes his entire mindset. It goes from being this situation where he has to be on the offensive so that he can't let anybody else in, because otherwise that'd be letting his defenses down and then he'll lose the argument, into reminding him that this is our life, this is our relationship. She still loves me, I still love her. So like, for example, if me and my wife are arguing or about something, whatever, just have a tenseful time, there's some issue going on we need to talk about, but it's kind of hard. Lots of times she'll break that ice, I try to too, but lots of times when she breaks the ice, it's her coming up behind me and doing something cute, like tickling me or grabbing my butt and pinching it or something, or rubbing my muscles and just making some comment, just something lighthearted to let me know that she still loves me. That whatever we may be talking about may be a hard point and it may be hard to actually get through, but she still loves me. This is still our relationship. And it's not that big of an issue, because our relationship is what matters. And whatever the issue is just something we need to get past. So the minute she starts doing something lighthearted, it signals to me as a man that I can start letting down these defenses, because this issue isn't going to destroy me. It's not going to be something I'm attacked and drug up and down the road mentally over. It's just a hiccup that we need to get past. And to do that, we talk it out. So number 6, use your femininity to create a safe space for him. See, ladies, there's something I hope to God you all understand, and that is, just by being a woman, you have a tremendous amount of power over us as men when it comes to emotions. When we're close to you, it starts bringing down our defenses. And there's actual real biochemistry that happens to do this too. When our woman touches us, just a simple touch on the arm or a hug or arm around the waist, it actually does start bringing down things like cortisol levels and adrenaline levels in our body. and starts allowing us to kind of just ease off those aggressive mindsets that we as men often have of I have to take on the world, I have to take on this situation at all times. It allows us to start looking at it as more, this is my lady, and together we're gonna take on the world because we're a team, because this is our life we built up together. So right here, there's something about being close to a woman that calms us, and when you get close to them, calms them more. Touch them and let them know that you're coming from a place of love. An easy way to do this is to just express some real quick rules and boundaries for your talk. Things like, honey, I'm not gonna have any yelling, we're not gonna do any kind of looking at a TV, I'm not gonna look at my phones while we're talking here. And the big thing is to let him know that these aren't necessarily rules for him, they're rules for you, that you're gonna follow, that you're putting on yourself in this talk. Because once you do that, hold on, I think I skipped ahead here. All right, number 6, you can use your femininity to create and build a safe space for him to talk. Sometimes men need a safe space where we can talk without distractions, pressure, and you as a woman can create it. In fact, you can create it almost instantly. There's something about being close to a woman that calms us. So when you want to talk to your man, start by getting close to him. Give him some physical touch. Come out, put your arm around him, give him a kiss, let him know that you're coming from a place of love. This does two different things. On the psychological side of it, it lets him know you're coming at this from a place of love, obviously, but that it's not you versus him in this talk, but instead it's you together, it's us versus whatever this conversation or issue may be. It's us simply getting through this issue. And when it's us, it's my woman with me. I don't need to have my defenses up against her. I need to have my defenses around her and include her because she's a part of me. And when you start your conversation off with that kind of loving embrace, that sense of coming from a point of you being together like that, it instantly starts letting him break down those defensive barriers. And what's more is that there's physical, neurological changes too. When we're touched by a woman in a loving way, it starts dropping our adrenaline and our cortisol levels, which further allows us to physically start opening up even more. Another quick and easy way you can do this is by giving rules and boundaries for the talk. You can set up some basic rules and tell him, express to him, make sure he understands that during this conversation, you're not going to be looking at your phone, you're not going to be looking at the TV, you're not going to yell at him for anything that he says. These are rules he should automatically be following as well. Both of you should for a good conversation. But as a woman, if you can just start off by telling him that in some way, expressing it to him so that he understands that those aren't rules you're placing on him, but are rules and boundaries you're placing on yourself, so that he can be more open and expressive, he'll see that, he'll take that as, look, she is actually taking down her own defenses and trying to truly see my point of view, trying to truly empathize with me and respect my point of view and what I want to talk about. And that instantly changes his entire mindset and the entire way he comes into the talk. Because from that point on, it's no longer him having to break through to you and get his points across and try to win something over. Instead, it's just a talk. It's just you two building up your relationship and talking and building each other up. There is no adversarial thing because it's not an adversarial relationship. Your adversaries are the world and the issues you're gonna face together. And because you are together, and because he knows that you want that, and you want him to see that you're together and you want to understand what he's feeling and his points, and that his points are valid and appreciated and respected, it will crumble all those defensive barriers, and it allows him to start looking at it through the same lens, and allows him to start looking at it, what are some things he can do to further express those same feelings to you? What can he do in the talk to allow you to understand he doesn't see it as it's him versus you either. He sees it as he needs to talk about these things, whatever the issue is, so that together you two can move past them, beyond them, use them to build yourselves up, whatever the case may be. And as a female, as a woman, when you use your femininity to create that kind of soft zone mentally for us,
when you can touch us, when you can let us know that you're coming from a place of love and appreciation and respect, it'll allow him to start coming to your conversation from that same kind of place of love and respect, where he views it as not him trying to break through and be vulnerable, but him trying to lift the two of you up together. And he will. Thanks for coming with Walk with me. I'll catch the next 7 on another video.